Quick things before we start this video. One, it's going to be more of a podcasty style thing. There isn't going to be a lot of heavy editing, it's just going to be a loop of me playing Stormworks. So, yeah, I recommend putting on something in the background or playing a game while you listen to this video. Well, that's what I do with most videos, so yeah. And also, if you don't know what Stormworks is, well, I don't know why you're watching this, but I recommend doing research and buying the game, of course. But you probably need the Search and Destroy DLC, because it's kind of required to have a good time, but still. Make your opinions maybe on that after watching this video. Anyways, yeah, enjoy. So, one of my guilty pleasures is old Stormworks videos. I'm sure a lot of people can agree that Stormworks kinda had two eras. One before its release, 1.0, which is about not 3 years ago, because it isn't September yet. So 2.5 years ago, as of recording this. And then, of course, post 1.0, which is what we are in now. And a lot of people would say post 1.0 is better. I kind of agree, but at the same time, there are a lot of things after 1.0, a lot of features that I think made the game better. Like, for example, I like the Arid Island update. I also like the weapons DLC a lot. And so I definitely think that, like, pre 1.0 with the two DLCs would be the best Stormworks. Maybe some of the handheld things? I don't know. Basically, you get what I mean. There were two eras, and it kind of feels like that at the same time, Stormworks began to die and is still dying after 1.0. However, I have recorded videos before 1.0. They're not good. They're still on my channel if you look at my old Stormworks content. And surprisingly, it might be surprising for some of you to hear, those are some of my favorite videos on my channel, just because I look back at them, remember how much fun I had filming them, and I remember just how much fun Stormworks was back then. And indeed, they aren't bad videos still. They're full of adrenaline. And when you watch them, you wonder what's gonna happen next, even if you've already seen them. I'm not gonna pretend like there's some Grammy Award-winning film, but you get what I mean. I like my old Stormworks content. Speaking of my old Stormworks content, check out how young I sounded in those videos, and then hear how old and mature I sound now. Just think of what I'm gonna sound like in 5 years if I'm still even on YouTube.
And oh god. We got a lifeboat out on deck. We might actually use that. I'm gonna get back in the bridge. I won't be using the sink room for today.
And one more thing I'd like to say, this is, by the way, 2 days after I recorded the original footage. Why do those old videos have so much dislikes? Like, some of the videos have more dislikes than likes, and the only like is me. Well, those videos also have less than 20 views, but I don't know, I guess people just didn't like the sound of my voice. Those videos were cringy, but I'm surprised that so many people flocked to my videos just to leave a dislike, even though they could have clicked off. Those videos back then get more dislikes than my videos now. Speaking of which, like the video. Anyways, back to me 2 days ago. Now, the thing that got me to do this video was a conversation I had on Discord yesterday. And they were talking about if Stormworks was crap or not. And the argument for it being crap was kind of just that you organize a multiplayer event, and then you get people on the server, and then all they do is build, and they don't actually do the thing. And I see where they're coming from, but if they're watching this video, which I kinda hope they are, that is kind of a you problem, because I don't have that much. People usually build in single player, from what I have experienced, and in the looped Stormworks footage you can see me building in single player. Not good, I'm not a good Stormworks builder, but I can build something, they work. But yeah, and then I was pointing this out, like, you don't have any complaints about single player, yet you also agree that Stormworks is the worst game ever made. Which to Stormworks fans, it might seem brain dead how he can think it's the worst game ever made. One, it's his opinion, so respect that. But also, I see what you mean. There are so many things about Stormworks you can't find anywhere else, and I'm about to get into that later. But yeah, and then I pointed this out to him. You have no complaints about single player, and then he said the lag, which is the most bot NPC type of excuse against Stormworks ever, because a lot of people know about the lag, yet so many people still play it. Why? Because, like I've said, so many unique things. Now, I used to think that lag meant frame rate drop, and it kinda does for some people. Like, if you play Stormworks on the Mac, then you're a legend, and also get a PC. But yeah, if you play Stormworks on the Mac, then you're gonna experience frame rate drop. By the way, a quick disclaimer, as we're halfway into the video, it's not the time for disclaimers, I know, but still, I'm gonna get off topic in a lot of these, because that's just how I work, so yeah. But then they told me it basically just means that usually the game is slow, like moon gravity, and also that it's like the ping and stuff like that. Usually, when I'm on a multiplayer server with maybe up to, say, 7 small vehicles, keyword they're small, then I don't experience this. But if it's like I have 20 people on Jake Hillen's Titanic, then it's gonna be quite slow and quite frame rate droppy. Well, not frame rate droppy, but I guess the ping isn't that good. So, and another thing that kind of, I guess you could say, made Stormworks for me is, I think a lot of Stormworks fans can relate to this sentence. None of us ever knew what Stormworks was before Jesse Gillette or Komodo Gaming came around and exposed us to that. Mostly Komodo Gaming, but I did watch Jesse Gillette in the early days of Stormworks. His early videos when he sounded younger than me. But yeah, speaking of which, the way I got into Stormworks was kind of with Komodo Gaming, and originally, this was before I had my own computer. In fact, I wouldn't have my own computer till last year, which to those who have known me for a bit on Discord sounds wrong, but still. I got it in around 2018, and I don't remember what the day was, but I remember it was after gym class with one of my friends on a Thursday, and I got home. And the reason I got it was originally I saw the Komodo Gaming videos and it was all sinking in rough seas. And I'm like, I kind of want to have my ship sink in calm waters. And then after watching a couple of videos, I realized that you can turn up the waves or you can turn down the waves. And I'm like, well, perfect. This seems like a great game. So I don't know if I saved up my money or one of my parents bought it for me, but I got the game, and as a perspective on how long ago I got the game, if you guys remember Jesse Gillette's Jean Laborde, or no, not that Jean Laborde, the old one. Yeah, if you remember that ship, you're a legend. I can't fathom how old that thing is. It's just crazy to think when I think about it. If I think about it real hard, it feels like yesterday. But yeah, RIP simple mode. If any of you know what I'm talking about as well, then yeah, RIP. And another thing that I remember about the new version of Stormworks was about how when version 1 came out, so many people were complaining because the way of spawning missions was gone, and a lot of people say they kind of brought it back, but not really. The old system for Stormworks, or non-Stormworks veterans, if you haven't been playing before the 1.0 update, then you are not a Stormworks veteran. There can no longer be any Stormworks veterans. I'm sorry, um, but uh, but yeah, the old system, if I remember it right, would be that you clicked N and then it brought up a menu of missions. Then you could either click from one of the missions you've been called to on the career mode, then activate the waypoints. But if you wanted to spawn a large ship, you could go into the workshop page, spawn a ship, or if you were spawning a actual rescue or other thing mission from the workshop, then you could click the toggle button as well to show where it was. But if you were filming a video and you didn't want a big waypoint in your face, then you could also shut it off. And you could also cancel missions at any time. And even better, you could have multiple missions spawned. Whereas now, I believe you can only do that by activating them before starting the game. So you see what I mean? It was a much better system. And also, they had the headlamp. I know a lot of Stormworks players will just immediately call me a boomer for saying the word headlamp, or the V key. But yeah, I remember that. It was very good for diving wrecks, and nowadays flashlights aren't that good. Stormworks, can you please add the headlamp piece back as like a thing you can pick up from like the kit or whatever, the little hold the inventory? Yeah, you guys can tell this video isn't scripted. Another thing I want to touch on is spy cakes. A lot of people who've watched this channel for a while know that I like spy cakes, and I might do another spy cakes related video in the future, but maybe not now. And yeah, Spy Cakes was one of the largest creators that made Stormworks videos. He never won a Stormy Awards ceremony, but still. He kinda also got me into it, although I found his videos through Komodo Gaming, but I eventually ended up liking his videos more, so yeah. And then I even got one of his merch for my birthday. That was fun. Anyways, I used to watch Spy Cakes a lot, and I remember the feeling. I don't know if I've ever described it like this, but I remember the feeling of going home on a Friday, knowing that, because Spy Cakes used to have a schedule on what games he'd post on what day of the week. Although it was always, from what I can remember, it was Friday was Stormworks, Sunday was adding on to their Gmod storyline that they had in one of their games, and then the other days were whatever. When I got into him, it was Donna Man. But yeah, that can also tell how much of a veteran I am to both Spy Cakes' channel and Stormworks. But yeah, every Friday I'd come home knowing that there would be another Spy Cakes Stormworks video, which I loved, and then I'm just like, it's been a long day of school, but at least I have this fun and entertaining video to lift my spirits. And that's what it was for a very long time. Then, on Sundays, I would go, oh man, school is beginning, but hey, at least I can rest assured that there's a new Gmod video to come out. But, yeah. Then all of a sudden, of course, he stopped making the regularly scheduled Gmod videos, and also the Stormworks videos. I don't remember when it was, but I do remember the last regularly scheduled Stormworks video was, I believe it was the video where they had the truck, and then it got hit by a train, and they destroyed a lot of money, but then somehow Komodo stole the money that was destroyed, and bought a yacht, and then, as always, they sunk the yacht. Most likely OB's fault. Actually, a lot of the ships sinking in that series, I never knew how it happened. Like, the first ever multiplayer video Spy Cakes did was one with a Coast Guard boat that's actually still on the workshop till this day, but heavily edited. And I remember they hit a boat there. They hit a little fishing boat that was owned by OB, and they sunk. And I still don't know till this day how they made it sink. I bet they had a button somewhere that they hit, and it was all scripted. But some of the sinkings in that series, I actually don't know how it happened. Like, they must have had some sort of hidden button they pressed, because other than that, I don't know how they could have sunk. But yeah, I remember that was the last regularly scheduled Stormworks video. Then it was on a Thursday, was their RMS Ruby Ocean Liner sinking video. And then I was like, okay, that's odd they posted it on a Thursday, but maybe it was some sort of like time constraint. Spycakes is quite busy with his video uploading schedule, so it's fine. But then he didn't upload another regularly scheduled Stormworks video. In fact, he didn't upload a Stormworks video for a while, and when it was only with him and Komodo. I was a bit confused. Then he began not posting his Gmod story series, although he posted Gmod videos and still does. So, yeah, he was what got me into Stormworks, and those Stormworks videos will forever remain some of my favorite videos on the internet, as well as his Gmod story videos. But, yeah. Going back real quickly, because I kind of do want to end this. It's been going on for a while, and I have another video to record. It's the Premier Cruise Lines video. If you haven't seen that, go watch it. But yeah, I'm just recording this before that video, because if I wait till after the video, wait till a couple days to record it, like wait till the day that you're seeing this, to the day that it was uploaded to see this, then I feel like I might lose a lot of the points. But yeah, I don't think Stormworks is dead, as a lot of people have said, and I don't think it will be dead for a while. In fact, one of the based things that Stormworks did was that they made their own game engine instead of running on another. But yeah, another good point that I made that we were talking about in the Stormworks discussion on Discord was that there are no games like Stormworks. Like, I've played a lot of games in my times, and I can never find one game that comes close to Stormworks. Because I've always wanted a game where I can build my own cruise line, name my own ships, paint them how I want, and stuff like that. Usually there aren't a lot of games where you can paint your own ships, but there are usually games where you can name them. Some of them are, I believe there's a Cruise Line Tycoon for the mobile. On Roblox, there's of course Cruise Ship Tycoon, which is still a great game till this day, even though they don't update it. And they also got Cruise Line Simulator: A New Era, which if you haven't played it, it's really good. And then on Steam, I also got my wish, kind of, a game called Cruise Ship Manager. Both Cruise Line Simulator: A New Era and the Cruise Ship Manager games are, I guess, I'd say C tier, respectively. Maybe Cruise Line Simulator, I could settle for an A, but yeah, they'll get better with time. But then there's not a lot of games as well where you can build your own cruise ship from scratch and really detail it, and I guess the closest would of course be Cruise Ship Tycoon, which I'd say is an A tier game, but with the lack of updates and the fact that it's still, to this day, I hate that, one, the Catamaran cruise ship is something only alpha testers can get, and I really want to build a Catamaran cruise ship. I'm doing that in Stormworks now, and I made a whole video on a Catamaran cruise ship. Please, Cruise Ship Tycoon editors, add one that costs money, or even a Game Pass. I'll settle for a Game Pass Catamaran cruise ship. But yeah, anyways, the constraint is that you can only choose from a certain amount of hulls, and you can't decide how to decorate, really, the amenities. You can only decide where the amenities go and what the interiors will look like. But other than that, you can't really edit your ship that much, other than, of course, the name of the cruise line and the naming and things like that. But you get what I mean. There are some other games that kind of do it. They do it alright, like Tiny Sailor's World, which isn't a cruise line game, but you can run it. Still, as well, you can't build your own ships. And so Stormworks is kind of similar to that, or kind of what I wanted, because you can build your own cruise ship in Stormworks. You can do that. You can't really run your own cruise line, but you can, kind of. You can make a collection on the workshop. You can make a Discord server about it where other people help you run it, like a Stormworks builder group, I think that's what they call it. But yeah, you can do that, and you can build cruise ships really detailed in that game. And the water physics in Stormworks are unmatched in any other game. Like, every single game, mark my words, every single game that ever exists has no good water physics compared to Stormworks. Maybe some Roblox games, but yeah, Stormworks is just S tier for so many things, like naval building, for the water physics, and for so many things, Stormworks will remain S tier. If you clicked off this video when I said the word cruise ship, you're either this guy on Stormworks, or you're just one of those, I guess I like to call them cruise ship nationalists, that only like ocean liners, or like, I guess ocean liner nationalists. They only like ocean liners, they only talk about ocean liners, and whenever someone brings up a cruise ship, they stereotype it as a box. They'd be right in some cases, but in most cases, no. Like, of course, the Premier Cruise Lines video, watch that video, look at the ships, they look good. But yeah, back to Stormworks, of course. Blech. There are not a lot of games that match it. I do agree that the land-based vehicles can be done better, and they have been done better, brick rigs. And for air building, there are many games people pointed out in the Discord VC. I guess for land vehicles, Scrap Mechanic would also be one. But for the air vehicles, the one I can think of is, of course, Simple Planes. But they pointed out a lot of other ones. Stormworks is getting there, though. They have a lot of good plane-related stuff. There are whole communities dedicated to just planes on Stormworks, and you can make good land-based vehicles in Stormworks. I know people in Stormworks that only make land-based vehicles. Anyways, back to the point. What is the state of Stormworks in 2023? Well, I think that pre 1.0 was definitely better, but if you suggest that Stormworks is dead, no. The community is still up and running. By the way, another complaint, that guy that only had lag and people building on multiplayer as his complaint, he also said the community, which, once again, like I pointed out, you have no complaints about spawning in a single ship without it being laggy and not playing with people. He has no complaints with that, and he still thinks it's a terrible game. Anyways, I don't think Stormworks is dead, because the community can keep it alive, and I think the community as a whole is still really great. You got so many cool YouTubers that keep Stormworks videos alive, you got so many great builders where I don't understand how they do it, and also how they take the time to use XMLs. I will never use XMLs for the life of me. But yeah, there's so many people that will keep Stormworks alive forever, and I think I'm gonna be one of them. When I'm 100 years old, I'll look back on Stormworks, particularly I guess old days, really, because pre 1.0 was before I got slightly good at building, before I could build my own stuff. Which, if you buy Stormworks thinking you're going to make a great vehicle and you're going to be done very soon, then I don't think you will, unless you already know a lot about Stormworks. But yeah, a lot of people need a lot of practice before they get good, a lot of trial and error, but yeah, that's my ultimate suggestion for Stormworks, by the way. For people struggling with Stormworks, my ultimate suggestion, get good. For real though, I don't think Stormworks is gonna die for a long time, and it probably will someday, but that's only because of Stormworks 2, which, if you haven't heard of Stormworks 2, then oh boy. But yeah, Stormworks development is an absolute dumpster fire these days, and I think that's what's eventually gonna kill it. The development team is literally 4 guys in a shack who don't make money off updates, so they're not gonna make updates. And in fact, they stopped paying kind of their community ambassador, which was Mr. Unjersey, and now he's gone. So without him, without Mr. Unjersey, without Spycakes, without a lot of these big YouTubers, Stormworks is gonna fade into obscurity very soon. And the only way they can do that is with the community, trying to keep it alive. And, yeah, I don't think Stormworks will be dead for a while, but I definitely think the best way to make Stormworks better is to have a competitor. But if someone wants to go develop a Stormworks competitor, good freaking luck, because they made their own game engine with some of the best water physics on a screen. And so if you want to compete with that, that is going to take a long time. It took 4 years for the Stormworks devs to get it right. Good luck trying to do it yourself. I would love for someone to do that, but it's gonna be hard. Good luck. But yeah, that's really all I have to say. I bet there's more points I could have made that I just haven't because I forgot about them. But yeah, and also if you try to debunk all my claims on why Stormworks is not dead with computer specs, which is what they did, I will not understand what you are saying because I am not the Geek Squad. I am not gonna be able to tell what you're saying because I cannot for the life of me figure out what PC specs mean, and I also don't know my own PC specs. So, yeah. Anyways, so again, see you in the next video, and Stormworks is not dead.